If given the opportunity, would you like to know what the future looks like? What if this future isn't what you wanted it to be, and you end up regretting your decision? We are in the X-Men Blue series, and Magneto barely escaped his attackers when he activated the time platform that transported him 19 years into the future in New York City. The city looked abandoned, and Magneto knew that even after all this time, he couldn't escape the terrible things he had done. Human bodies impaled by metal poles haunt the landscape, grim reminders of a future that hasn't happened yet for him, but a future that he feels responsible for. He can't help but feel guilty for the things he is seeing, believing that somehow he was meant to see this future, and it wasn't all just a big coincidence. He sees visions of the Mother Vine mutants he was forced to kill in self-defense, even though he swore an oath to protect them. He screams in horror, but there is nobody to answer his calls, and he already knows the answer. As he goes deeper into the city, he finds ruins of a long-forgotten war, human bodies scattered everywhere, and empty shells of giant sentinels painting the city. Out of nowhere, a horde of Reavers ambushes him, and Magneto warns them to turn around and walk away. They refuse, and instead attack him, but in a swift motion, Magneto summons a metallic armor from the scrap metal lying around and quickly kills his attackers. From the silence that followed, a faint voice speaks to him, asking if it's really him, if he really came back. A young mutant bearing a resemblance to Nightcrawler appears out of the chaos and guides Magneto deeper into the ruins. Amidst the devastation, surviving mutants gather to greet him. They express gratitude for his role in saving the mutants from the ravages of the Reaver virus, a war that decimated both human and mutant populations. Nobody could predict how fast the virus would spread, eventually infecting everyone, and when the number of infected people grew too big, Magneto did what he thought was necessary and wiped out everyone. He was hailed as a hero by the surviving mutants, but he didn't want his acts of genocide to be remembered as acts of heroism. Out of nowhere, their conversation was interrupted by the last few surviving members of the X-Men. The X-Men were shocked to see Magneto and knew immediately he came here from the past. They blame him for everything that happened to the city. All the people who died here are his victims. But the other mutants defend Magneto, saying they owe their lives to him. The X-Men believe that by witnessing this future, Magneto will travel back in his own time and become the monster he was destined to be. They attack each other, with the X-Men claiming they already defeated Magneto when he was a lot stronger, and he doesn't stand a chance now. But Magneto wasn't alone. The mutants from the future help him, and he was able to use the time machine to escape this future and return to the present. Magneto tracks down the laboratory responsible for birthing the Reaver virus and talks to the professor in charge of the project. Professor Jansen is excited to explain the work they are doing, but sadly for him, Magneto didn't come here to talk. He came here to destroy this place and kill all of the people working on this project. Maybe the grim future he experienced will never take place, if the Reaver virus was never created in the first place.